Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're looking at The Making of the Fittest, DNA and the Forensic Record of Evolution by Sean B. Carroll. Sean B. Carroll is an award-winning scientist, author, educator, and film producer. He leads the Department of Science Education of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. That was taken directly from his website. Sean B. Carroll has written many biology books, and most of them seem to be about DNA and evolution. If you've been watching my videos, first of all, thank you. This is a lot more fun and interesting when there are other people to discuss the material with. That's a part of why I'm doing this, because I don't really know many people that are into the same stuff as me. So feel free to weigh in with thoughts, feelings, opinions, recommendations, or whatever. And second, you'll have seen that one of the subjects I'm interested in is evolution, and we have a good book today. The Making of the Fittest, DNA and the Forensic Record of Evolution. I know that's quite a long title, but it really is perfectly appropriate for what this book talks about. When they say the forensic record of evolution, that is meant in a literal sense. It's like history has a tough time keeping a secret when it comes to biology, because the genes that survive to be passed down are recorded as they change and pass on like it was nature's diary. And these records are detailed to a stunning degree. The things we've been able to work out by examining the letter-to-letter language of DNA and apply what we know about DNA transcription, polypeptides, and mutations over the backdrop of natural selection is pretty incredible. It's hard to even talk about because it's so all-encompassing and awe-inspiring that it really, to experience the wonder, you just have to study it in depth, I guess. I'm not sure that this book would be the best place to start. Evolution is generally talked about at certain levels, be them the animal species, local populations, individuals, at the cellular level, and finally down to the level of the genes themselves and their nucleotide bases. And that's what this book goes into depth on. If it were physics, it would be looking at the fundamental particles that make up the atoms and learning about how those atoms interact in certain environments. The science in this book can be somewhat dense and may not be the best introduction for beginning in evolution. This book is 10 chapters and covers everything from a brief overview on DNA transcription to the evolution versus religion debates. To get an idea of some of the topics covered in depth, some of the chapter names are The Everyday Math of Evolution, which deals in probabilities and of different kinds of mutations or gene duplication or deletions and how they affect phenotypes. Immortal Genes, which discusses gene structures that have been surviving for hundreds of millions of years. Deja Vu, which is about convergent evolution and how evolution tends to produce certain trends, as well as chapters focusing on humans and chapters focusing on biological complexity. An interesting concept discussed here is how the biological environment affects the function of a gene, meaning the other genes in the code. For example, you can take the nucleotides of the genes for growing an eye and insert it into some other part of the body and actually grow another eye somewhere. This book also goes into the science on the formation of all different possible codons and the 3 base frame to produce all the proteins that all of our cells are made from, and how mutations and natural selection all work together to produce the bewildering diversity of life on this planet. Part of it very much reminded me of a genetics class I took, and I really enjoyed those parts. But I was wondering how much of this book I would have been able to understand had I not taken that class, because there's some pretty important information that is just quickly gone over in this book. Most of the book, however, is totally accessible to anyone, but you will want to be in a place where you can focus while you're reading this. This was one of the more amazing evolution books I've read, and it's pretty clear while reading this that the author really knows what he's talking about. I find that the more I study evolution, the more I'm just in awe of how amazing it is and how amazing nature is. Some of the rules in evolution can be so simple, yet the implications when you're reading about these things and thinking about the way nature works is pretty awe-inspiring. So I have another Sean B. Carroll book that I'll review sometime down the road, and this time I'll take notes so that I can give you guys more examples because I really want you to see just how fascinating a lot of these concepts in genetics are. That's it for this one for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Have you read any good books on evolution? Have you studied it at all? Feel free to comment any thoughts or questions you have on the topic, and I'll try to find an answer or at least point you to some good material. If you have been curious at all about DNA or evolution, I would highly recommend you pick up The Making of the Fittest by Sean B. Carroll.